Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two pickup trucks making love, American made.
Listen up, Autothoughts from Decepticons. You're listening to Prime Cuts, a non-linear history of the Transformers franchise on television. I'm one of your hosts, Audrey.
I'm your other host, Nero.
We got a very special man with us in these episodes tonight.
Right.
And then also some more serious stuff happens. Actually, two really cool cameos.
Yeah, some great episodes this week, as per usual with Earthspark.
Yeah, continuing to pull in characters, mostly from IDW, and G1.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's who voices Breakdown. Okay.
Wait, who voices him?
I was wondering who it was. It's fucking Roger Craig Smith. It's Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, he does gotta go fast, though, don't he?
He does. Yeah, we watched Missed Connection and, what is this one called? Security Protocols.
Yeah. Which are episodes 13 and 14 of Earthspark. Tarantulus is here.
So yeah, we got the kind of a little bit of a trilogy here of the last three episodes, mostly being about the Terrans and their feelings about alt modes, comes Missed Connection.
Yes. So we start Missed Connection with a day off for the whole family.
Yeah, no school day, which means everyone can hang out except the barn is exploding, and no one knows why. Also, no one knows where Nightshade is, so presumably those two things are connected.
You won't believe it, but they are. Nightshade is a little inventor non-bine.
Yeah, they're building like the training drone from A New Hope, pretty much, but with way more shit that it can do.
If I ever used the word boy to describe Nightshade, please understand that I'm doing it in the same way that the McElroys used to describe the mayor of Second Life. They are a bit of a cream-faced business boy, a little inventor boy here.
Yeah, so they have made an orb to replace Bumblebee, pretty much. The Smart Trainer 5007, and when someone asks why the Smart Trainer, why is it called that, Nightshade says the first 5006 tried to destroy me.
Funnily enough, this one does as well.
Yeah, still not quite there. Twitch is the one whose dad too is Wheeljack, but Nightshade and Wheeljack sure do have a lot in common.
Yeah. I guess maybe like Nightshade's gonna be the Springer of this show. They're just gonna get a bunch of dads, huh?
Yeah. So they defeat the orb, but Nightshade isn't too mad about Bumblebee blowing it up or whatever. They're just like, oh,
yeah,
I'll get right to work on the new one. And
meanwhile, like everyone else is like, oh no, we've destroyed Nightshade's special thing.
It's like, I'm so sorry, Nightshade. And they're like, no, it's fine. I'll just get to work on Smart Trainer 5008. It's no biggie. And everyone's just like, do you want to, like, hang out?
Well, yeah, they're like, well, now that that's not, like, distracting you, do you want to, like, play with the rest of us? And Mo in particular goes, it's not a day off for all of us unless we're all there. And Nightshade's like, no, I'm good. Bye! See you later.
Not in like a dismissive way, just not understanding of the invitation, really. Just like, well, I'm fine here. I don't really see why I would have to. All of these robots are autistic, is the thing.
They're neurodivergent, for sure.
Dot and Alex.
Dot and Alex are like, okay, this maybe needs an intervention.
Yeah. So Alex gives they're worried that Nightshade might be getting too like siloed off in their own little projects.
Yeah.
So Alex is like, hey, you should try branching out and doing other stuff because your siblings would really like to hang out with you. And Alex gives Nightshade a sci-fi book that he really liked as a kid called Winged Sentinel.
Yeah. It's about a owl.
It's like the owl is important. It's like a sci-fi fantasy thing, judging from
It's like the
people
Guardians
say
of
about
the
it.
whatever it is.
It's like Guardians of Ga'Hoole in space.
Yeah,
I think.
Guardians of Ga'Hoole.
It's like, what if Star Wars was about owls?
And it just happens that it was written by a local author who is buried in a cemetery nearby named D.E. O'Neill.
That's the reveal. So at first, Nightshade loved this book. About it. They're like, oh my god, I didn't realize that you could make such vividly, you could write such vivid images into a book. It's amazing. I love the written word now.
I find Nightshade such an interesting character there because they're offbeat in such a peculiar way, even for being offbeat. Like, it's really hard to get, we've talked about this before, but it's pretty hard to get a read on Nightshade in general as a character. This is not necessarily behavior I would have expected from them. They seem very level-headed and logic-minded. I wouldn't have thought necessarily that they would have been regaled by sort of like heroic fantasy stories the way that they are here.
Yeah. But
they are, so
it's it's one of those things where we actually haven't spent a terribly long amount of time with Nightshade. They've kind of just been in the background of most of these episodes.
Even after this episode, I still don't feel like I can read them.
They're a tough nut to crack. They're very much kind of an enigma, but they are very excited to talk to D.E. O'Neill about stuff, and they say like, I wonder if they would like my projects too. So they go to hashtag to get O'Neill's last known address, and hashtag very cheerily tells Nightshade that D.E. O'Neill's last known address is the Witwicky Cemetery. Neither of them know what that means, judging by hashtag's tone and Nightshade's confusion.
And also, this is just a little bit further ahead, but after this scene, when Nightshade does return back to the board, hashtag's like, so did you talk to your author?
Yeah. They don't know what death is. But yeah.
Oh, they know what death is. I apparently don't know what cemetery is, which means that, hey, now we know that Cybertronians don't bury their young. Or old or dead. I don't know why I said young.
I don't know why either. So they go to the cemetery. They find a ornery old groundskeeper there who tells them to go away.
And then says it exactly the same way again.
And it is also a hologram. And Nightshade's like, fascinating.
Yeah, and also flickers in and out of existence.
They go into a tomb. And find a secret laboratory filled with Cybertronian and ghost tech, and then a gigantic mechanical spider attacks them. Well,
before that, they also find, I would say, proprietary technology that is webbing.
Yeah, that's not ghost tech. That's
not ghost or even really distinctly Cybertronian. That is just Tarantulus. All Tarantulus, baby!
Yeah, Tarantulus is, of course, the gigantic mechanical spider, because we don't know that many other ones of those.
It could have been Black Arachnia. That would have been a pull.
That's right. But Tarantulus tells Nightshade, please leave.
Yeah, Tarantulus is, like, getting ready to attack them, and then, like, pauses and, like, looks at them. It, like, has, like, claws over them and all that, and then it's just like, you're a protoform.
Oh, you're a baby.
Like, I can't remember what exactly he says. It's something along the lines of sufficiently unthreatening.
Yes.
To like you're a protoform. You're sufficiently unthreatening. Please leave.
By the way, Tarantulus is voiced by Alfie Allen, Theon Greyjoy from Game of Thrones. I think he does a pretty good job.
Yeah. The English accent is really fun on this tarantula. I love this Tarantulus. This moment here where he was like, "You're a baby, I'm not going to attack you." I was like, "Oh no, I love him."
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
no,
yeah,
I love a Tarantulus. I can't do this.
This Tarantulus is not hiding away from civilization and the other Decepticons because he's a freak like Beast Wars Tarantulus, or because he's kind of a freak but also making some crazy shit like IDW1 Tarantulus. He's just hiding away because he just doesn't want to get involved in that shit. He just doesn't want to be, like, he doesn't care about the war. He just wants to live his goddamn life.
Well, it's more than that. He's scared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. He wants to live a normal life, but he knows that he can't do that as he is now. He's like, I'm so tired. And he explains all this to Nightshade. So, like, Nightshade reacts to him not attacking them very similarly. He goes, you're sufficiently unthreatening, and they respond with, "You're oddly not Decepticon-like," seeing the Decepticon symbol on his chest.
Non-standard Decepticon behavior, and Tarantulus goes, "Well, I'm not your standard Decepticon."
Yeah. So, Nightshade doesn't seem to be scared of him at all, really. And they ask him, "What are you doing here?" or whatever. And basically, Tarantulus just, like, immediately starts trauma dumping on them.
Yes.
A little bit. But, he says that, like, "I'm so tired of running from Ghost. The war's been over for 15 years, and I can't, like, I just want to be free. I just want to start a new life. And as soon as I have a working human model, like Avatar, that I can put out into the world, that's fine. I'll remotely pilot it. My body will stay here, but I'll be able to at least experience life."
Yeah, basically he's working on a hollow matter avatar.
Right.
One that can interact with the world in a meaningful way, rather than just being a normal hologram.
Right.
There's also a line I liked here because Nightshade says, "But the war is over," and Tarantulus basically goes, "Yeah, they've said that a lot over the past 4 million years. I remember the war being over several times. It never fucking stuck."
Yeah, no, that's a really good one. And I can't remember exactly what it is that Nightshade says, but they say something along the lines of, like, why... right, that's what they say. So Tarantulus explains this entire plan, and they go, "Well, would you really be free then?"
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if you have to hide everything that makes you you, then would you really be free? And Tarantulus looks at them and goes, "You're a protoform, you wouldn't understand, until you have, you won't understand until you have an alt form." And what we get here is, like, incredible trans-to-trans talk.
Yes.
Very explicitly, because Nightshade basically goes, "I don't want an alt form," and Tarantulus at first sort of, like, dismisses it the way everyone else has sort of dismissed it, where it's like, "That's ridiculous. Like, you are a transformer, an alt mode is your birthright," which is a very interesting choice of words.
That is a really interesting way to put it, that he puts it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, "You are a transformer, and alt mode is your birthright," and Nightshade responds by saying, "Aren't I enough as I am?" And, there's this incredibly sweet line from Tarantulus where he says, "An alt mode is not a missing piece meant to complete you. It is meant to be a further expression of yourself." And suddenly all the lights go off in Nightshade's head.
Nightshade gets it now because no one was explaining it to them the way that made sense to them. Just like how, when someone invites them, like, "Hey, why don't you come hang out with us?" Nightshade just goes, "Well, I'm fine over here." They don't get the whole, like, they want to hang out with you too.
Yeah. And this is the moment for them where you can just hear "boogie woogie woogie woogie."
Yep.
In the background. And they're just like, "I've never thought of it that way." And Trent's just like, "Okay, well, maybe you should." And at that point, having now adopted Tarantulus as their second dad, Nightshade is like, okay, cool. I'm gonna help you get the fuck out of here because you've just rocked my entire world. And it turns out what you're missing is an actual human perspective, because you're only coming from, you're trying to make a human avatar, but you only know Cybertronians, and there's your problem.
Yeah, so they help Tarantulus get some parts he needs for this thing, and also like, yeah, I'll teach you, because like they even say, yeah, your human avatar does not act normal or believable, so I'm gonna help you figure that out.
This is as they leave to collect the parts. This is the part where they turn to Tarantulus and say, like, why are you even doing this? The war's been over for 15 years. And Tarantulus is like, yeah, I've heard that before. And I can't remember what prompted it. Nightshade basically questions him. It's like, so why are you choosing to do it this way? Like, of all the things you could have done. Oh, or something like, you made choices. It's like you chose to be a Decepticon. Right? Because it's like, well, why are you in disposition? It's because you chose to be a Decepticon. And Tarantulus responds with, I never chose to fight. I chose to survive. And now I choose to live.
Yep.
And that line's gonna stay with me for a long time.
Wonder what Tarantulus did during the war, because it does not seem like Tarantulus... He's obviously a really good inventor, but he is not the mad scientist that certainly Beast Wars and to a degree IDW is, right? Like, this Tarantulus would not make the fucking noise maze.
Probably not, but he may have. I mean, what you see in this Tarantulus, I think, is a lot of guilt.
Yeah. I guess we don't hear anything from Bumblebee about if Tarantulus has that kind of reputation or not. Of like,
no,
you know, you're responsible for making some crazy shit.
My guess is he made some bad weapons, probably. You know, general war crime stuff, but not necessarily the sicko stuff we've come to expect from Tarantuli.
Yeah. So Nightshade heads back home to pick the orb up. And brings it back to... there's a very good moment here, because when they get home, everyone is crowded around this goddamn orb, the battle thing.
They fucked it so bad.
They're trying to fix it, quote unquote, and they've just messed it up so bad. And Nightshade goes like, hey, what's everybody doing? And they all look so guilty, and they hold it out. It's like, we felt really bad about blowing it up. We were trying to fix it. Nightshade just grabs it and they goes, great, thanks, bye.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this is exactly what I need. And look, you've already done the work of starting to disassemble it. Thank you.
Okay, bye. And then they just leave. And everyone is just kind of lost about what's going on. But when they bring it back to Tarantulus asks, like, what do you want?
But this is a weird part because they like leave it in front of the entrance to the tomb.
Yeah,
like,
and then they hide.
And then they call out, they're like, Tarantulus!
Yeah, I don't know why they do this.
And Tarantulus comes out and sees it, and is like in spider mode and crawls on top of the tomb and like looks down at it, and then he's like, what is this? And Nightshade's like, it's the part you need to complete the connection.
Yeah, I don't know why they hide behind the statue. I don't know why they make a little like
game out of this.
Yeah.
Why they're being so coy.
But Tarantulus asks, what do you want in exchange for this part? You know, obviously thinking transactionally. And Nightshade just goes, I just want to hang out. I just want to help you build your projector.
So you're my dad, boogie woogie woogie woogie.
Yeah. And Tarantulus goes, well, I could use a new lab assistant.
Now
this is where the alt mode conversation
yeah. Sorry, yeah, I skipped ahead there between the two scenes. At the end of it, they figure it out. Like, they get it done.
Yeah, there's a great montage that shows them working together.
Yeah. It's super cute. And also, like, this is also the point where Tarantulus is like, oops, I've also adopted you. You are my child.
Yep. Now this is an interesting part. So, they get it done, and Tarantulus asks Nightshade, "Do you want to come with me? Like, do you want to
Yeah.
flee the conflict together?"
Hey, just met you, and this is crazy, but you're
I'm
my
your dad
child.
now.
Let's flee Ghost together.
Yeah, because he's like, this war is gonna heat up again, like 100%. And I don't want to be here when that happens, and I want to be as far away from Ghost as humanly fucking possible. But Nightshade says, no, I have obligations here in Witwicky. I would like to go with you, but, I've got stuff to do. And Tarantulus finds that an odd thing to say, so, of course, what he does... Because, look, this Tarantulus is much more kind-hearted than most other Tarantuluses. Still a fucking sneaky guy.
I was so genuinely upset by this.
So Tarantulus follows Nightshade home, but also there's a conversation Nightshade has with Dot and Alex before this that I found really interesting, where they ask Dot, like, are all not obviously not all the
it's just
Decepticons
with
are bad.
Dot.
Yes, it is. Alex is not there.
Yeah, it's not with Alex. It's just with
they are
Dot,
asking about Megatron.
Yeah. Well, they go back after the second meeting, and they're like, they don't explicitly say it, but you can see that they're thinking, it's like, ooh, I wonder if there's a way that we could, like, get Tarantulus to be accepted so that he doesn't have to run from Ghost and he doesn't have to do all this. Like, that's clearly what they're trying to do. So he approaches Dot, and so they approach Dot, and they ask her, like, how did the world accept Megatron after only knowing him as evil Decepticon Megatron? And Dot's like, well, Decepticons aren't inherently evil. They made choices, and a lot of them made bad choices, but no one is inherently evil. And everyone, Autobot, Decepticon, human, deserves a second chance.
And then she continues, like, sometimes they squander those second chances.
Well, yeah, because Nightshade follows up with, what about the Decepticons that are in hiding or in prison? And Dot's like, well, sometimes they do bad things with those second chances too.
Speaking of which,
yeah, but like
Tarantulus.
Yeah, Nightshade's, before we get to Tarantulus, you can see that, like, Nightshade's like, cool. You can see that they're, like, really thinking, oh, I could do this. I can make this happen.
But there's a little misunderstanding. It's a sort of kidnapping of the Magi situation.
This is so upsetting.
Because, okay, so what Tarantulus did was he looked up the Maltos. He's like, who are these people Nightshade is staying with? And he looked up Dot and saw that she was a ghost agent, and so immediately, like, oh well, obviously Nightshade is their prisoner. I am going to, and this is the obligation that they were talking about. Therefore, what I am going to do is kidnap them and wipe their memories.
Like, I feel so much for Tarantulus in this episode.
Yeah,
he literally the entire time was only trying to do the right thing, and it sucks. Like, it sucks to watch this.
It's a perfectly understandable choice that he makes given the information he has available, right? Like, he just doesn't know the situation, and so he immediately jumps to, well, if Ghost is involved, it must be bad.
I'm so upset about crying over a fucking Tarantulus.
So yeah, he's got by the way, this memory wiping gun he has, he mentions that it was Ghost technology. Meant to wipe Cybertronian minds. What is going on over there?
Yeah.
Optimus, did you know about this one?
Order of events. He tracks down the Maltos, goes to their house. He overhears while looking for them, or just, it's unclear what his plan was when he got there. Like, it was pretty he was obviously trying to look out for Nightshade, but to what extent, not as clear. But he hears Alex and Dot talking about Nightshade after having this conversation. Like Dot's like, and then they were talking about the Decepticons. I don't know what to do about them. Like, we have to do something about them. And Alex...
That is the thing that causes Tarantulas to go,
Yeah. And Alex is like, yeah, no, something has to be done about them. And Tarantulus is like...
What they mean, of course, is we will have a talk with them. What Tarantulus assumes is, dissection or something.
And again, given the events of this world, a pretty reasonable thing to interpret that as, frankly. So
like, Tarantulus is not entirely in the wrong here. I understand the thoughts that brought him to that place, especially, once again, he doesn't know everything. He doesn't know about all of this family stuff.
Yeah, so he yoinks them.
Everyone else just sees their parents get kidnapped by a giant evil spider.
Bumblebee drives up just as, like, Tarantulus has, like, skittered off with them. Oh my god, stop. Has skittered off with them, and he's like, okay, what's up? What's happening? And Mo and Robbie are like, oh, they took her parents, and, like, all the Terrans are like, oh my god, they took her parents, and, like, Nightshade is in the back, and they're like, oh fuck.
Oh no. Oh no, what did you do?
And they, like, very slowly retreat away from the rest of the group until they can like fully turn tail and run back to the cemetery, because they know that's where Tarantulus is going. So Tarantulus puts the Maltos in his web upside down.
But Dot has very dexterous feet.
Well, a dexterous foot.
She has a single dexterous foot, and she cuts them free.
The whole
like
time, Tarantulus is sort of like monologuing.
Yeah. This is where he brings up the fact that this fucking forget me gun is modified ghost technology, because it's originally only meant to work on Cybertronians.
Is it here? Because I'm pretty sure he brings it up when Nightshade is in the room.
That's true. Well, yeah, they break free, and very quickly Tarantulus is like, where the fuck are you going?
Yeah. Oh,
stop.
No, he says something more threatening. He says he grabs Dot, fully grabs Dot, takes her off the floor, and says, "You'd never make it to the door."
Yep.
Which is a pretty good line, and that's
a Beast Wars Tarantulus line right there.
Yeah. And that's when Nightshade is like, gets there and is like, put her down, step away from them, get away from them. Mm-hmm. And this is the point where Tarantulus is like, it's like, Nightshade, you're here, fantastic. I'm going to save you. I'm going to save both of us. I overheard them talking about what they're going to do to you. And I knew I had to act like immediately, but it's fine. We can get out of here. We just can't go if these two know that we're going to be leaving. So it's fine. I'm just going to erase their memories using technology that, by the way, was used on our kind by Ghost during the war. And I'll wipe their memories. They'll forget you ever existed, and we can both be free.
Yes.
And Nightshade's like, oh, damn, I'm really, really upset you said that. Really wish you hadn't said that.
Yeah, it's time for a fight. Unfortunately, Nightshade is a baby, and Tarantulus is much better at fighting than they are, and very quickly he has them webbed up outside.
Yeah, the fight like leaves the tomb. It's actually a pretty cool fight scene, like crawling over the
I love the way Tarantulus is animated in this episode. He's very spidery.
Yeah, even in his root mode, he does the standard Tarantulus things where he just the Doc Ock thing where he just
walks on his legs.
Walks on his spider legs as opposed to his like bipedal legs. Mm-hmm. And like the way he like moves up and down walls in the bipedal mode is also really interesting because it's very Doc Ock. Like I think that probably was a huge influence.
Almost certainly.
Specifically Sam Raimi, Doc Ock.
Yeah, including the fact that, he's a very sympathetic villain, just like that version of Doc Ock is.
Yeah.
Obviously, along with that, the other inspiration is is comics Tarantulus, but we'll get there.
Yes.
But yeah, so Nightshade is webbed up, can't move. But this is when they draw inspiration from the Winged Sentinel. And see, so the author's tomb, D.E. O'Neill's tomb, has a version of the like owl logo from the cover of the book on top of it. And so Nightshade scans that to become a bitchin' owl.
Hey,
Ooh, they look so cool.
You know what this bitchin' owl has? Fucking wing lasers. Holy shit. Homie.
So I think this is probably the first time someone has scanned their alt mode from a fucking statue.
Yeah. And it's actually one of the things that they said to Tarantulus in their earlier conversation about alt modes, was after Tarantulus says it should be a further expression of yourself, they'd say, oh, so that's why you chose such an unusual, like an unusual form for yourself. And Tarantulus was like, that's right. But no one else seems to appreciate it. So, you know, they choose an unusual expression for themselves. And it's bitchin'.
It looks so cool. Also, Nightshade's new robot design looks great.
Yes. It is sort of like just their base design cranked up to 11.
The ears are spikier. They're green now.
Which I assume means that Jawbreaker will be orange.
Why do you assume that? Wait.
Because hashtag's purple.
Oh, we gotta complete the color wheel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they defeat Tarantulus. This is when everyone else rolls up. Bumblebee, and everyone else, and they have Tarantulus. They had Tarantulus at stinger point here. But Nightshade's like, wait.
Yeah, Bumblebee's like, well, if it isn't the old bastard Tarantulus, I've been waiting to pop you for a long time. Anyway, say your prayers. And Nightshade's like, hold up.
Whoa,
stop.
Hey, whoa. And this is they say that, like, everyone deserves a second chance. Hashtag warns them all the ghost is closing in. Because, she has the access to the ghost comms.
She has Spidey sense, but just for Ghost, which is great.
Yeah. So, Tarantulus apologizes to Nightshade. And then, because the Terrans and Bumblebee obviously cannot be seen by Ghost.
Yeah, he also kind of apologizes to all of them.
Yeah. He didn't know. He literally, look, he was not trying to hurt anyone. He literally just didn't know what the situation was.
This is where I started crying, because he's like,
fucked up.
Go with your family. You have to get out of here. They cannot catch you. I will be the distraction. And I was like, what if I cried over Tarantulus in the year of the Lord 2024?
So he leaves behind the holographic projector, by the way, when he runs. He leaves it behind for Nightshade. And then the last thing we see of Tarantulus is him getting fleeing through the woods, leading Ghost away from the Terrans.
I can't believe I'm so upset about Tarantulus.
What a good spider he is.
This show continues to do the impossible. All right, well, speaking of fondly thought of Decepticons.
That's right. I love this episode. This is the one this is the one that got to me. Mostly because Danny Pudi is good at acting.
Also, the robot Yaoi.
That's right. This is a robot Yaoi.
I was like, wow, robot, like the slow-mo and everything. Robot Yaoi. All right.
Security Protocols, episode 14. Bumblebee is at a racetrack doing some stunts, and ghost agents are there and figure out that it's him.
Bumblebee, you ignorant slut.
Bumblebee, you fucked up.
Bumblebee, wake up, you fucked up big time.
Yeah,
Schloder.
So Schloder is now on the case once again.
Schloder also gets like really good character development in this episode.
He's so good he's great in this episode.
This I put this in like between these two episodes, between Tarantulus and Schloder, and even to an extent Breakdown in this episode, but mostly the two of them, Tarantulus and Schloder, this really is like the most multi-dimensional cast of characters.
Yeah.
The most like nuanced and morally gray like cast of characters I think I've seen in any children's media in like years.
Yeah, everyone, even if they are antagonists for the most part, they are like unless your name is fucking man.
Yeah. Like, I'm even on the fence about Croft at this point, because who knows what her motivations are.
So, we cut over to the Maltose farm after that cold open, where Twitch is very aggravated to see that everybody, instead of doing real training, they're just helping Bumblebee train for this fucking race. And she's like, are you kidding me? Like, we're not ready. What if something happens and we're not ready? And Thrash is like, chill out. It's fine.
The rest of the characters, like all of the Terrans and all the kids, literally all the kids, are the side story in this episode.
Yeah.
But it is like a really important Twitch episode.
Yeah, this is a big one.
Even so.
The reason it's called Security Protocols is because they get panic roomed by accident. Which I think is really funny to just slip ahead. So there's a point where
Hashtag and Nightshade have been working on.
They have been turning the dugout beneath the barn into a fucking fortress.
Yeah, an impenetrable fortress.
From both sides, no one enters or leaves.
It's safe that way. And it automatically goes into shutdown when ghost vehicles approach.
Yes.
Which must have been Hashtag's contribution.
Yes, because she has, like, the specs for all that stuff.
Yeah.
However, when programming in the automated unlock after the threat has left, Nightshade accidentally put in a few extra zeros. Instead of making it 10 minutes after the threat has left, it's 10 hours.
Yeah. They made a little oopsie. So what happens is Agent Schloder is arriving and they go into lockdown.
Yeah, well, there's some setup here first with Twitch and Thrash, because they start
fighting.
Yeah. Like, and not like sibling like play fighting or whatever. Like, there's real beef here. Twitch basically mad that everyone is ignoring her like points of like, we have to actually train because who knows when something might happen. She starts like shooting at Thrash, and it's like, oh, watch out, it's training, are you ready for it? And they both get really mad at each other, and Bumblebee tells him to hit the dugout to cool off.
Yeah.
And this is when Schloder arrives.
And then Schloder arrives, and Bumblebee is outside of the barn when it happens.
Yeah,
so
he has to hide.
He does not get caught in this, but all of the rest of them get caught in 10-hour lockdown.
There's a very funny thing. Because he's like out. He's like he's stuck out. He's like tapping on the door to let them in. And while everyone is arguing, you can see on the screen in the background him on the cameras tapping on the floor.
Yeah, so he like rounds the corner and sees Schloder there, and then immediately like runs back inside the barn. And he's like, "Let me in! Let me in! Let me in! Let me in!"
But no one can open the door.
And they're not arguing at this point even. They're Hashtag and Nightshade are showing off all the cool features.
Yes, they are. They're bragging about all the great how impenetrable it is.
Yeah. They haven't even gone to the point where it's 10 hours into 10-hour lockdown yet. They're just like showing off. They're like, yeah, check it out. Pure titanium. Nothing's getting in or out. What's good? And outside, like, Bumblebee's knocking. But, eventually Schloder goes in to talk to the Maltos. And there's this great scene where they're just like staring at Schloder over coffee, and Schloder's staring back at them. And he goes, I've hunted a lot of Decepticons. But do you want to know the particularly plump white whale that has eluded me?
He says this while slowly stroking a Bumblebee mug.
Yeah. Having poured coffee into it from a Bumblebee kettle.
Uh-huh.
And Alex is like, no. And Schloder's like, Bumblebee.
It's Bumblebee. We
It's
have
like,
photos. Yeah, he puts on the fucking conspiracy board. It's like, we have been tracking. There have been mysterious yellow vehicles winning races all over the world. But scans have come up empty on it being a Cybertronian, but when we scan the Energon afterburner that he's using,
the boost, the Energon
same.
boost. And
yeah,
then
he's got Energon nitrous, which is the thing that actually gets Bumblebee busted here, and everyone
Yes.
is like, bro.
Also, there's this funny thing, which means, so he goes, which means, say it with me, it's Bumblebee in disguise. And
Yeah.
like Alex and Malto just look at him, and he goes, you didn't say it with me.
And he's like, I have photographic evidence taken last night at Wiki Racetrack that confirms this. And he throws a photograph on the table, and they look at it, and it's a picture of him eating 2 hot dogs. And he goes, no, not that one. Wrong one. That's personal.
I kind of love him.
What is-
He's growing on me like a fungus a little bit.
Yeah, then he throws the actual one, which is, of course, Bumblebee speeding away. And Alex is like, oh, I see. You think he scanned the car that I have. Because, of course,
Yeah.
the cover story is that Bumblebee is Alex's exotic European supercar.
Yeah. Alex is like, that would be so flattering.
Yeah, that would be great.
And Schloder's like, yes, it would be, which is why you're coming with me, and we're going to use you and your car to bait Bumblebee out.
Yep, and so yet again, Alex gets press ganged into a ghost mission. And after they leave, Dot goes to the bar and is like, hey,
Well, this is, this is where, before Dot goes out, this is where they all figure out they're in 10-hour lockdown.
yes, because they're like, we have to go out and help them.
Twitch sees there's in one of the garden flamingos there's a camera and lawn flamingos, and Twitch sees on the screen Schloder like steering Alex into the ghost van, and she's like, hold up, everyone stop talking. They're taking Dad. He's taking Dad. We have to go, we have to save him. What if he's in trouble? What if, he's going to do who knows what to him in ghost facilities. And then Nightshade's like, well, okay, for like an extra safety measure, we made it so that there was like a 10-minute buffer after Ghost left the premises before lockdown ended. And they point up at, a timer, and Robbie looks at it and goes, hey, Nightshade? Nightshade goes, yeah? Why does it say 10 hours?
And they go, huh. Oops.
And they go, oh, shit.
Uh-oh. So this is when Dot goes to talk to Bumblebee, and she's like, are you fucking kidding me? Why are you entering races?
She's so pissed off.
And she's
Bumblebee,
like,
wake up, you fucked up big time.
And he's like, listen to me. It's not what you think. I only enter these races because I'm looking for someone who's really important to me, and that's the only way I can track them down.
It's for the Yaoi, Dot.
You don't understand.
He's like, listen, there was someone to me that was like a brother, wink wink, nudge nudge, and I haven't seen him, but I know he does these races, and we're both running from Ghost, and it's the only place I know where he can show up. Please let me go race. And Dot's like,
it's a trap, right?
Yeah, Dot's like, are you stupid? And Bumblebee's like, well, I can't not go now. Then they'll know someone tipped me off. So
yeah, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. So there you go. Dot has a plan. And yeah, this is where we finally meet who we figure, because they had, it's been a mystery who Bumblebee is talking about, but Bumblebee heads to the racetrack early, and Breakdown is there of the Stunticons.
This is old school G1 breakdown.
Yes.
This
is not Big Buff Prime style breakdown. This is classic breakdown.
White chassis, orange face, blue helm, old school G1 breakdown. It is so cool to see.
Yeah, and he and Bumblebee do the Predator handshake.
And like
as one does.
And specifically, like, he says he's a stunticon. I love this.
He's like, because Bumblebee kind of chastises him about being an adrenaline junkie, and Breakdown says, well, what can I say? I'm a stunticon at heart. He's got a very deep voice.
Yeah. Sonic on 2 years on T.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a stunticon deep down, and then they get into a fight, and Bumblebee's like, well, you're not. You didn't have to be. You chose to be a Decepticon.
The past comes up. That we were closer than brothers, but now we have to race each other.
Anakin.
But Bumblebee basically says, look, if you can beat me in this race, I'll give you. Breakdown wants the energon suppressor Bumblebee uses to hide from Ghost. He wants it.
And Bumblebee just wants Breakdown to stop putting himself at risk.
Yes. And Bumblebee's like, if I win, you have to stop this. You have to come
retire.
Come find a secure hiding place. I'll set you up somewhere.
They are.
It's very clear that Breakdown is not one of these Decepticons who's actively trying to get the war restarted. This isn't like a Sky Warp situation or anything. He's not out there doing shit. He just wants to have fun.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of them are that way. I mean, Tarantulus was the same way.
Yeah, they're only the ones that have fallen in with Mandroid, the Seekers, and then I guess also, Swindle and Hardtop, I think, are just generally nuisances. Yeah. I don't know if they're trying to restart the war. I think they're just
Soundwave is.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Soundwave definitely has his stuff going on.
Soundwave is. I do want to point out, they are interrupted in the middle by the same Ghost Agent getting soft serve again.
They love ice cream.
It's the same guy as last time.
He loves ice cream.
He loves soft
it's a big race, and luckily they can watch the race because hashtag can put it up on the screens there.
Before we get to the race itself, there is a cut back over to the kids, that I want to point out to because this is when Twitch starts getting furious at Thrash or whatever. And she starts losing it. She's like,
yeah,
this is why I'm so mad at you guys for not taking this seriously, because now we're stuck here and Dad's in trouble and we can't do anything about it because we're fucking stuck here. And everyone's like, calm down. She's like, no, I'm not going to be calm. I am upset because this is an upsetting situation. And to reiterate, I would die for Twitch in a heartbeat.
Oh my god, she's so good. The end of this got to me so much.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, we'll talk about that when we get there. But what a final shot. And then second of all, the autistic plus eldest daughter combination is a hell of a drug.
That's a hard one to get. That's no good.
And you're
gonna have a bad time.
She is not doing well with it. It's really interesting how the dynamic has changed after the 3 new Terrans arrived, because while she and Thrash were very distinctly the younger siblings to Mo and Robbie before, she is obviously the eldest child. Mm-hmm. Even though Mo and Rob, there's almost 2 sets of siblings at this point. And they all love each other equally, but it's the group of them, the 7 of them together, and then it's Mo and Robbie and the 5 Terrans, and then it's the 4 of them, Mo and Robbie and Thrash and Twitch, who are all psychically linked. So it's interesting, but she's definitely stepping into the eldest daughter role, and it is not going super well. She cares so much.
Yeah, she just said, he tells Thrash the reason I've been so hard on you guys is because I am so worried that something is going to happen and it'll be my fault because it'll be on my watch.
And she actually it's interesting because she echoes a lot of the sentiment that Tarantulus was talking about in the previous episode, where she's like, I am so tired of being scared of my family getting hurt, of people I love being taken away from me. I'm tired of it. I don't want to feel this way anymore.
I want to hide in interesting. She says this while hiding in an underground space, much like Tarantulus was.
Though, to be fair, that is not by her choice.
No, that's by her sibling misremembering how many O's are in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Anyway, back at the racetrack, Agent Croft is here, and she's here to razz on her brother.
The stands. This was amazing. The stands are entirely ghost agents in their full fucking creepy helmets.
Yeah, Alex, it's like all these ghost agents and then Alex, and like with Schloder, and Alex is like, is everyone here ghost? And it's like...
Croft is like, yes.
And so Croft comes over and is like, yup, John here invited everyone, didn't you, John?
Yeah, calling him John, giving him the old first name, not Agent Schloder. Ooh. That's how you know she's mad.
Yeah. It's like, it better be good, because otherwise you will have failed in front of literally the entire agency.
And Schroeder's like, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So, it's the race. There's a few other, like, human racers, but of course we have Breakdown and Bumblebee there.
There isn't a race.
Yeah, the secret is that there isn't a race. They just surround the racetrack and hold Bumblebee at gunpoint. But then here's where the plan comes out, because when they point their guns at Bumblebee,
it's a Dot's trick.
Yeah, Dot gets out. She's in a fucking like racing jumpsuit, and she says, "Okay,
she looks good.
You got me. I didn't want to tell Alex that I've been souping up his car and taking it out to race. It was going to be a surprise."
I love that she says this as though she was like taking it overseas.
Yeah, we know Bumblebee said he raced in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So Dot's like, I've been flying all over the world. I've been living a Fast and Furious movie.
And like transporting this car with me there.
But one of the agents comes up and scans the car and is like, well, there's no Energon signature on this one. However, and then turns around to Breakdown. And gets the reading, and this is so good. Breakdown just goes, well, and then transforms and goes, "You'll never take me alive," and starts blasting.
Yeah,
I love him.
Oh, it's so good. I love the Stunticons. I hope we get more Stunticons besides just Breakdown. I love Breakdown, but I would love to see the other Stunticons.
I need more Motor
Give
Master.
me Dead End, please.
Yeah, get me. The Stunticons are such a group of complete fucking jackasses. It's amazing.
Oh my god, Motor Master. Can we get Motor Master in here, please?
I love that the reason Menasor is so stupid is because they all hate each other. And can't, like, they're all just
they can't coordinate their limbs.
Yeah, but so Menasor is just fucking a dipshit.
The fucking Virgin Menasor versus Chad Devastator.
Yeah.
Chad Devastator that's fucking on the battlefield.
So Bumblebee at this point, he's like, okay, I love this because like Bumblebee has been
actually, sorry, very quickly before we get there is one line from Schloder that I want to talk about before Breakdown reveals himself, where Dot steps out of the car and it's like, and Schloder's like, damn, okay, well, I guess I was wrong. That's pretty embarrassing because literally the entire agency is here. But take it down, boys. Just set it back. Take it down like a piñata of broken dreams.
Yeah. That's when Breakdown goes apeshit.
Yeah.
And also Bumblebee goes apeshit because what happens is Breakdown's shooting almost knocks it. This is actually a really good moment. I love this moment. So he knocks down the scoreboard, the big like scoreboard over the stands, and it almost crushes Schloder.
And a bunch of
So
other ghost
Bumblebee-
agents.
Yeah. So Bumblebee transforms and saves them. And you expect, Schloder will clearly see things differently after this.
No.
Commercial break. Immediately they start shooting him.
Yeah, and
They just
Bumblebee's
open
like,
fire on
Bumblebee's
him.
like, Bumblebee's holding this, like, straining underneath,
Yeah.
and he's like, get out of here, I can't hold this for long, and Schroeder's like, Bumblebee, I knew it, get him.
Get him. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. So now Bumblebee and Breakdown are trying to get out of here together.
The track, I just want to shout out the music here as well, because the track underlay here is just this heavy bass.
Yeah.
Drum and bass, and it's so good.
So
this
of
fight
course,
scene
all
is sick.
Yeah, so the Terrans by this point their feed got cut off when Breakdown revealed himself and blew everything up. But Twitch is completely freaking out now. She is literally just hitting the doors with her swords.
Yeah, she's trying to cut them down. It's not working at all, but she says, I can't just stay here and do nothing.
So at this point, Dot and Alex have fled the arena, but Breakdown and Bumblebee are still surrounded. They get surrounded by ghost agents, and Dot fucking rigs up a ghost truck to crash into them.
Okay, I want to talk about this real quick, because right before Dot does this, Bumblebee and Breakdown have like a moment where it looks like they're gonna get away, and it's like, okay, let's go. And then immediately they're circled by Ghost.
Yep.
And Breakdown looks over his shoulder at Bumblebee, is like, sure I can't pop these guys? and Bumblebee's like, listen, please just like try not to hurt anyone. Then we cut over to Dot, who's like, I'm gonna kill as many ghost agents as it takes. I don't give a shit.
She just fucking rigs up this truck to hit the gas. Also, Breakdown definitely blows some trucks up. He RCs some of these guys.
Yeah. There's also there's also one sequence with Breakdown before all of this where he like dodges. There's this like slow-mo thing of him dodging all of both cuffs, and stasis cuffs,
so cool.
and missiles.
Yeah,
and
he's
you
like
just
matrixing through them.
Yeah, he like matrixes through them, and then like it ends with him transforming, and it's like all just one smooth motion. It looks so sick.
So the big truck gambit opens up a path for the two. And so they get out of the encirclement. Unfortunately, Croft has the Psychopass gun. And is just fucking stationed up to the exit of the arena and just starts blasting.
Yeah. So their gambit at this point is just drive straight at them and try to like break through.
And Breakdown's like, yeah, here's another fucking wager for you. Be first one to get there escapes.
Winner gets to be the diversion.
Cooler. It's so much cooler. Yeah, winner gets to be the diversion.
And then he like slaps like Bumblebee behind him, and it's in this like really cool anime ass shot.
It's so like, anime. Look, I love these two so much.
Of
Robot
like
Yaoi.
Yeah, the robot Yaoi. Again, the shot we get. Okay, so Bumblebee. So he. Breakdown starts driving towards. He like slaps Bumblebee behind him in this like really cool, again, like pause slow motion shot like you get in anime when someone's just like, you know, waves a hand or is like see ya kind of thing. And Breakdown starts like gunning it towards ghost agents, and Bumblebee's like, hey, what? Hey, no, stop, and like transforms and guns after him. And because he is in front, Breakdown takes the brunt of the damage.
Yeah, he gets the shit shot out of him.
His front wheel takes off its axis. His other wheel like grinds down to the pavement. Doesn't matter. He keeps going, and that he manages to get to the barricade and charges through and transforms. And this shot is stunning.
Yes.
So he's like, Bumblebee comes here, and he like transforms as Bumblebee arrives, and like literally lifts Bumblebee in his hand. As Bumblebee's in car mode still, and flings him up using his own momentum to sort of help fling him up.
Yep.
And there is a shot as Bumblebee flips over him. he transforms into his root mode, and they just stare. There's this like gorgeous shot of the two of them staring at each other, in this moment, literally suspended in time, suspended in the air, and then Bumblebee's on the other side of the barricade.
Yep. And this is where Danny Pudi gives just a great like scream of breakdown no, and his voice cracks. He's good. I love this Bumblebee.
Oh, the Yaoi.
And Bumblebee, this is a big thing. I like it when a show is like, no, we're changing the status quo for real. Because Bumblebee is exposed now. They know about him now. He is no longer undercover. It is no longer safe for him to be at the farm.
Actually, that's an important part. There is a moment before this where this is what happens before they get encircled, is Schloder is able to capture Bumblebee with wire by his leg and his arm. And Schloder looks at him and goes, like, almost despairingly. Like, he's almost like, you can see he's really genuinely torn up about it. He was like, Bumblebee, I don't know why you went rogue, but, like, it doesn't have to be like this. If you just come quietly, I'm sure we can, work something out and, like, understand what happened. But if you don't, you're going to be spending the rest of your life in a ghost cell. And you can see Bumblebee consider it.
Yeah.
But then eventually he starts fighting against the bonds, and that's when Schiller's like, all right, bag him.
But then Breakdown shows up and frees his boy.
Yeah, and that's when they get encircled. But it's like this crisis of conscience for Schloder. It's like the first time you see him be like, not just, I want to capture Bumblebee, but like, I want to understand what went wrong. Because you can see that like Bumblebee was a hero for him as well. Yeah. And like that he just doesn't understand what happened or what went wrong. So now Bumblebee's on the run and Schloder's is on his tail.
Yeah, he gives the Maltos a ride home. He gives Dot and Alex a ride home, and he says, I promise.
Well, no, there's something really important before that. So Dot and Alex are trying to make their escape, and Croft has them surrounded.
Right.
And she's
Croft is like they knew.
Yeah, so Croft is like, all right, well, we lost Bumblebee, but let's but please, apprehend these accessories to harboring a
rogue Autobot.
A rogue Autobot in their home. And Schloder's like, whoa, stop, no, what are you doing? They were deceived by Bumblebee as much as we were. This isn't us. This isn't what Ghost does. We protect people, like the Maltos. And he, like, gestures to, like, the guns pointed at the Maltos. And he goes, not whatever this is. And there's a moment that you can see where Croft clearly knows that the Maltos are not innocent, quote-unquote innocent here. But she looks at Schloder, and she, looks at her brother and looks at this and sees sort of what is important to him. And she's like, all right, fine. Like, don't let me see you again, basically. And that's when Schloder's like, it's fine. I'm sorry about that. Let me drive you home. It's the least I can do. You've both had a really long night.
Yeah. And when they get there, he says, I promise I will stop at nothing to capture Bumblebee.
And Dot and Alex are
like, you've been fooled.
Dot and Alex are like, great.
So happy.
Cool.
This is the point where the doors have finally opened. And the Terrans and the kids have come out. And they realize that Bumblebee is missing. And Dot has to tell them that he probably won't be coming back because he has to go into hiding again.
For all of their safety.
And Twitch takes it about as you might expect.
Twitch gets to have a new experience, and that experience is crying.
Yeah, so she's been holding her sword. She just lets them fall to the ground and just sort of stands there. And Thrash runs over to hug her, and she just, he's like, I'm so sorry. And Twitch just says in, like, barely contained rage, not on my watch.
Or, yeah. No, because it's something about Bumblebee specifically that she says not on my watch too. And it's like, I'm sorry, you know, Ghost is going to be looking for him, and she's like, not on my watch. And it's like, oh,
Twitch!
I would kill and die for you.
She is so good.
She is the most character ever. I'm like, I can't believe they made a character this good.
She's great. Yeah, like truly an all-timer. So we got quite a few questions this week. Obviously, people were excited for the return of the Spider Boy.
Yes.
And who wouldn't be?
I mean, I did make a very purposeful choice when I made this question.
So first over on Twitter, we got one question on Twitter from What Is Cosplay Cast over on Twitter. How much of a chaser is this version of Tarantulus, and how does this compare to his Beast Wars and IDW versions?
Could not be more opposite.
Yeah. Beast Wars Tarantulus is all of the most nightmarish grinder conversations you've ever seen about that stuff. You know it. You know he's on there. I don't know about IDW, because the thing about IDW Tarantulus, he's still kind of a freak, but not as potent of a freak.
I also think IDW.
Beast Wars Tarantulus.
I also think IDW is less of a sexual freak.
Yes, Beast Wars Tarantulus is a pervert.
Yes,
that is a pervert.
Like that's I think that's the difference. Is that like Beast Wars is a pervert, IDW is a freak. He's not right, but he's not a pervert.
Yeah, but meanwhile, Beast Wars Tarantulus is like, ooh, I want to eat that rat. Ooh, I want to gobble you up and drink all your blood. Ooh, I'm gonna put you in my bondage web.
Yeah, no.
Ooh.
Beast Wars is a pervert, and I just really love this version of Tarantulus. I don't think he's a chaser. I think he's earnestly a good boy.
I think he's mostly normal, which is just shocking for Tarantulus, frankly.
Yeah. Though again, him being played by Alfie Allen is like an interesting choice about what that could mean.
So that's it for Twitter.
Over on Discord, Scoot from TF2 Daphnis has posted a photo of his own cat, Nightshade. Who is winning in a fight? Nightshade, parentheses, weighs 15.5 pounds, can turn into a boo-boo wheel, has eaten a spider, parentheses, or Nightshade, probably weighs like a quarter ton, can turn into a bird of prey, has accepted a spider as their queer elder. I am going to give it to the giant.
No. Boo-boo wheel is a very strong technique. It's hard to beat that.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to give it to the giant non-binary owl robot.
I mean, it's stiff competition. But I also must vote for that. Only slightly. Once again, Boo Boo Wheel, very powerful.
I'm pretty sure in the wild, owls prey on cats and not the other way around.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
Birds of prey are scary.
Yeah. Short Scream Chet asks, if you put Earthspark Tarantulus, Beast Wars Tarantulus, and IDW Tarantulus in the same room, how well would they get along with each other? Okay, Earthspark and IDW would get along great, and they'd both try to kill Beast Wars.
Yeah, like it would be a situation where they would both beat the shit out of Beast Wars Tarantulus.
Yeah.
As soon as he opened his fucking freak mouth.
Yep. Nero from Disney Minus asks, what would happen in their respective series if you swapped Earthspark Tarantulus and Beast Wars Tarantulus?
Oh god.
Beast Wars would be a much shorter series because Tarantulus would just defect.
Tarantula. Okay, here's the thing we'll learn in future seasons of Beast Wars. Tarantulus causes a lot of problems in Beast Wars.
Yeah. He
already has caused some, but we haven't gotten to the level of problems that man causes, okay? Earthspark Tarantulus, would just join the Maximals. Meanwhile, there would be a lot more missing persons cases in it, Wiki, because he'd be eating people.
See, I disagree. I disagree with that because almost nothing would change in Earthspark because Tarantulus would have been caught immediately and put into mega solitary confinement.
Yeah, he would not be able to fucking keep in hiding. He would, like I said, he would be eating people.
Yeah. Mega solitary confinement.
Yeah, he's in sub basement level 7 in his own special cell. Croft is like, I don't want to look at that one. That one creeps me out.
Yeah.
He's like Hannibal Lecter. He's in the fucking glass.
Veer also asks, which characters that haven't shown up yet would you like to appear in the show either as a guest appearance or as part of main cast? I think they've chosen some incredible polls, frankly. I think one of the ones I always gravitate to, because I've never seen them really done in a way that I find satisfying since G1, is the Lambo twins.
Yeah. They never really get their time in the spotlight.
I mean, IDW, Sunstreaker, and Sideswipe both had interesting enough individual stories, particularly Sunstreaker.
They were never really together.
But they were never really together, and I like the dynamic of having a split spark of, like, what that means to be, like, brothers. Genuinely brothers.
I'd like to see some Constructicons with, like, 2 or 3 of them dead or captured already. And, like, what does that mean for the rest of them?
Oh, yeah, that'd be really dark, though.
It would, but, you know.
And
of course, we also said we'd like to see some more Sundicons, because those guys are just freaks.
Yeah, the Sundicons. I also think, since we already have some deep pulls for the Seekers, I'm telling you, put in Sunstorm.
He's out there somewhere. He's got a cult going. I just know it.
Yeah. Sidewinder Sabrina asks, it seems like Nightshade is getting their own dad too. Do you think any other bots will end up having a mentor-like figure like Nightshade in Twitch? Also, if Dinobot from Beast Wars showed up, would he be renamed, or would the Dinobots have a different title? Okay. For the first one, I do, like I said, I do know that hashtag befriends a specific Decepticon. I'm not going to say who.
And I know that Jawbreaker befriends a specific Autobot. And I'm not going to say who. We both have forbidden knowledge.
I would say that the character that hashtag befriends is not a father figure. So, you know, the answer is probably no for her.
Responsible one, anyway.
For Jawbreaker?
Well, for hashtag, because I also know the secret.
Oh, you know who?
I know. If you know, I know. You know, I know.
I think I'm pretty sure I also know Jawbreakers.
So, but yeah, I mean, I feel we know that they're gonna get one. Obviously, I think all of the Terrans. I guess Thrash doesn't have like a sort of non-Bumblebee mentor figure yet.
Yeah, I wonder who would be a good mentor figure for Thrash.
RC
could be a good one.
I just want to see them hang out.
They could put Ironhide in. I think Ironhide would be a really good mentor figure for Thrash.
I need old ass Ironhide.
Yeah.
I need crotchety old man Ironhide.
That's who I need. That's who I'd like to see in this show. Dinobot from Beast Wars showed up. He would not be renamed. The Dinobots would have a different title.
Yeah, maybe they go with the one with the Y and the Dinobots, which is what they sometimes use when they're on Cybertron. Yeah, I don't know. Dinobots never really shown up again.
Yeah.
Beast Wars. Probably for that very reason.
Or they might just go by their names. I mean, we see Grimlock. Presumably we'll see Grimlock again. He
was in the little, like, G1 style intro, yeah. Or like the G1 style exposition thing. So he's kicking around somewhere.
Yeah. From Aurora Spark, you think it would be possible for a Transformer to, like, jump from alt mode to alt mode like they were Kirby? That appears to be canon.
So you get fucking 6 changers.
Or
I guess triple changers are like a specific thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, yeah, I mean, transforming seems to be, in this show, basically, like, hitting Control C. You can hit Control V as many times as you want, but as soon as you copy something out, that's what's in your clipboard.
Theoretically, they are always able to do that. It's just that you can't make that many toys.
Right. And I think, given the lore of the Nightshade episode in particular, and the idea that it is expression of the self, it's a very personal thing. Yeah. I would say it's probably similar to, like, getting a big haircut.
Yeah, so I was about to say, is someone who changes alt modes frequently like someone who dyes their hair a lot and does it very differently every time?
Yeah, someone who changes their alt mode, a lot is the Ramona Flowers of the Transformers world. But, like, yeah, you know, I think it's something that's probably, like, a significant change, but not difficult to do. Just most people don't think of doing it because they grow comfortable with how they present.
Yeah.
Also from Aurora, what makes a guy able to be a triple changer? Do you just really want to be two things? Do you need two T-cogs?
So I think this is actually like whether, you know, it's the equivalent of like you're kind of a genetic freak. It's like a specific thing. You don't. I think you can be modded into a triple changer or a six changer or whatever, but most of the time it's like they just are inherently that. It's like an outlier ability.
Yeah, I think that's how it is as well. I think you have to have like a strong load-bearing spark the way like Minimus does.
Yeah, that's why Six Shot is a six changer in IDW 1 is because he's a 1%er.
Right.
And that's why Grimlock is so busted strong in that comic as well, because he's just built different. He's literally built different.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. I think you need to have, and I think you need to have the basic equipment for multiple alt modes.
Yeah.
Because
otherwise everyone would be triple changing. Everyone would just be like, I also want to fly.
Yeah. Sidewinder Sabrina asks, how many of the Fast and Furious movies does B know by heart? All of them.
He is a big fan.
And does he think any are inspired by him?
I think in his more vain moments.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Fuck! Does that make Breakdown Dwayne Johnson?
Sure does.
That makes B Jason Statham.
No, you gotta switch those.
God. Okay, yeah, that's true.
We gotta switch those. Who's Jason Momoa then?
Fuck. Mandroid.
Jesus.
It can't be Mandroid. I don't know. I don't have a good answer though.
Sabrina also asks, as an autism haver, I connect with most, if not all, of the Maltobots. What do you think is the percentage of Maltobots with autism? I think it is pretty high. Okay. I'm going to preface this by saying that I think there is a wide variety of neurodivergence that is trying to be expressed in the Maltobots.
Yes.
Some of which is autism, some of which is not. Some of which I think is textually is supposed to be coded that way, and some of that I think is just it's easy and nice to interpret it if you relate to that. So, you know, this is by no means word of God, but to me, Twitch is autistic coded, and I think purposefully so. And hashtag is ADHD coded, and I think purposefully so. And those are the two that I think are purposefully being coded as neurodivergent.
I think Thrash is also pretty ADHD, right? Like, in a different sort of way than hashtag. And we already said Jawbreaker has anxiety.
Yeah. Jawbreaker just has anxiety.
My poor boy. With his gibbon arms.
But, that being said, I think there is a combination of, like, actual textual, like, implications for all of the Maltobots, and also just, like, a combination of being born yesterday, where adjusting to a new world where they are the first of their species, where they are trying to fit in between two cultures that they have no experience in, Cybertronian and human, while also trying to figure out who they themselves are, creates, I think, that kind of feeling of alienation that becomes really common for a lot of people who are neurodivergent. So I think it's not surprising that people who are autistic or who have ADHD or any other sort of neurodivergence see themselves reflected in these characters, whether or not they're supposed to be coded that way.
Yep.
Cool. From Soundwave's Big Naturals. How big would the paper roll used to smash tarantulas have to be?
You have to get a really big one.
You know, it's really...
Or a cup. If you put them on a cup, oh my god, that's the world's biggest cup.
You know what's really funny about this question is that just yesterday I was reading a Disco Elysium fic where Harry remembered one of his like previous cases, and he almost got, it was in like a paper factory, and he almost got crushed by a big roll of paper, except Jean saved him before it could happen. So
Damn.
it's probably that big.
Pretty big, yeah. Fairly large.
Sneeper from TF2 Ajax asks, what was your favorite chapter book as a child/teenager? Bonus points for things no one else has heard of. All right, I have one for you. Shade's Children.
Oh, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shade's Children is a novel by Garth Nix, who is better known.
Oh.
Yeah, is better known
that
as
guy.
the author of the Abhorsen trilogy. I was in middle school, I was like super into fantasy and sci-fi, and I read through the Abhorsen series, and we had in my school library this other book by him. I don't remember like all of the details of it, but it basically is a story about a world where like everyone over the age of like 30 or so is dead. And like there's something that kills people when they get to that, and so it's about this group of like children who are like under the control of this like who like report to this like shadowy figure, and then they start realizing that the shadowy figure maybe isn't trying to help them.
Yeah. Interesting. I read a lot of these types of things as a kid. So obviously I read what do they say, child/teenager? I guess I can say I read the Magic Tree House. I read A Series of Unfortunate Events. That one was a big influence on me.
I was also going to say A Series of Unfortunate Events.
I had your usual suspects, your Percy Jacksons, your Artemis Fowls, all that stuff. One that I read a lot that doesn't really seem to have a whole lot of recognition, not a whole lot of breakthrough knowledge, is something called Pendragon: An Adventure Through Time and Space.
I think I knew
Journal
that
of an Adventure Through Time and Space. It's sort of like an epistolary novel for babies, partially. Yeah, I read all those as a kid, and I think those are probably the most obscure ones that I read in like middle school.
Oh,
if I had to guess.
The other one I read, okay, there was Oberot. Did you ever read Oberot?
Never heard of that one.
Yeah, there's another one. Haha. Look at it go. I'm crushing it. It's by Clive Barker.
What?
Uh-huh.
He wrote like a young adult series?
Uh-huh. Oberot focuses on Candy Quackenbush, a teenage girl frustrated with her life in Chickentown, Minnesota. After an argument with her teacher over a school project and doodling Candy has done in her school workbook, Candy leaves the school and goes to the edge of town where she sees the remains of a lighthouse. She finds this incredibly strange, etc. Basically, she like Oberot is this like mirror world. And I remember the cover really called to me because the title could be read exactly the same upside down.
Yeah.
So and then there's Inkheart. Did you read Inkheart?
I did. I've seen those. I've heard of it.
Yeah, Inkheart is the other one as well, which is kind of like Baby's Alan Wake. It's about a dude the daughter of a guy who like gets taken into a storybook, and his like stories come true.
Yeah.
There are a few for you. There! I gave you several no one has heard of. Semi-related, also from Ajax, semi-related, what is a book you would show to anyone you could if given the chance?
Reaper Man.
Interesting. Actually, I'll be right back. I have to do something real quick. Sorry about that. I'm glad you mentioned Reaper Man, because my most beloved books are Terry Pratchett books. I would say probably either Good Omens or Feet of Clay.
Yeah, those are both very good.
Where are we now? All right. Slipstream Sam asks, question out of left field, but which Terran would fixate on those insanely long kids book series like Magic Tree House with over 100 books? Okay, hashtag obviously. because
But
hashtag
she
has consumed all
she
media.
speed read. Yeah, she speed reads though. She has read all of them.
Yeah.
The person who would fixate on them is Twitch because she actually reads them
Yes.
and not just download them and like process all the information.
I think
She's reading that
Nightshade,
shit.
based on their behavior,
That's true. That's true. We do know that they enjoy a good book now.
would probably fixate pretty hard on them as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Thrash or Jawbreaker as particularly interested in them.
Thrash doesn't have the time to sit down and read shit. He's got stuff to do, and also Jawbreaker. I don't know. He just doesn't seem like that kind of guy to me.
Jawbreaker's spending his time looking at like those Zootopia books or whatever they were.
Dinotopia.
No, not Dinotopia. Like the Get a Free, like
Oh, Zoo Books.
just Zoo. Was
the
it just
Tiger
Zoo books?
Poster.
Okay.
It is just Zoo Books.
All right. Well, there you go.
Zootopia is the Disney movie.
I'm aware of that. I knew it wasn't Zootopia, but it was all right. Zoo books, great. Sidewinder Sabrina asks, "How many of the fake brands did you catch at the racetrack?" None of
I
them.
didn't see any of them.
Yeah.
I was not looking for them. I'll have to go back and look to see if there's any good ones. I love a good fake brand.
Aurora also asks, "What does Schloder use that double hot dog photo for?" Oh, well, he's
Personal reasons.
he's the glizzy goat.
He is the glizzy gulper. He's the throat goat.
Yeah, you're just mad because Trump isn't the throat goat.
It's John Schloder. He's the throat goat.
Aurora also asks, does Alex get to get any of the Malto kids to play classic video games such as Sonic the Hedgehog for Sega Genesis?
He doesn't seem like that kind of dad. I don't know. Because there's definitely kind of dads who are like, you got to play this thing from my childhood because it whips ass, and like, you think it's lame because it's like your dad or whatever. He doesn't seem like that kind of dad, unless it's about. He makes them play the Sonic the Hedgehog knockoff starring Bumblebee.
Right, exactly. Who transforms into a hedgehog.
Yeah.
Scary. Do any of them get really into it? No, I don't think so. I do think there is like this generational divide that we've seen between Alex and the kids that sort of that keeps butting heads with them.
Because we know Robbie's gaming.
Yeah. And then finally, if you were stuck in a bunker for 10 hours with only cable TV, what sort of programs are you watching to pass the time? Oh God. I mean, whatever cooking show I can find.
Cable? Yeah, I was about to say I just watched some streaming show, but cable? Oh my God.
I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, you gotta find the Food Network.
There's a bunch on like Fox and shit. Like I can find Kitchen Nightmares or whatever, Hell's Kitchen. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm sure Chopped. Someone will show me Chopped.
It's somewhere on there.
And then our last question this week comes from Ruby Road Rage. Ruby, rate this Tarantulus as compared to other Tarantulae. The categories are freak, parent, and secret third option.
What is that? What is our choice for the secret third option?
Pervert, which is which is Beast Wars. This one is parent. IDW is freak, and Beast Wars is pervert.
Yeah, just Max pervert. What that abdomen do, baby girl? That's him. That's Tarantulus.
Is that a thorax in your pocket, or?
Like, he was literally going to make every protoform that he comes across into a clone of Black Arachnia. This man is a freak.
I hate him.
Pervert. What is going on with him? Why is he like this? Meanwhile, IDW Tarantulus has no interest in that stuff, but he will make a nightmare dimension. So, you know.
Yeah.
He's not exactly normal, but he's normal when standing next to Beast Wars Tarantulus.
Or again, like, I don't even need normal. He just doesn't make me want... He doesn't make my skin crawl.
Yeah, Beast Wars Tarantulus is a nasty, nasty man.
Like, I'm fine. Like, I let your freak flag fly. Like, don't let me yuck your yum. But like, oof, Beast Wars just makes my skin crawl.
He is a true pervert, that Beast Wars Tarantulus. Well, we've run a bit long, so let's speed run these plugs, shall we?
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at Dragon Smoocher, on co-host at Dragon Snuggler. I get those backwards all the time. Twitter, Dragon Smoocher, co-host Dragon Snuggler. Tumblr Cyclones with a 5 at the end of it. I have a Blue Sky, but I never use it. Various other projects in various other places. Talk Cycles, Teen Titans episode coming next month. You can find all of that stuff mainly on co-host now. Ready for Heideland, same thing. Wednesdays streams. We've got one coming up this Wednesday, which I guess will be in the past by the time you hear this, so I can't say go watch it. I hope you have watched it in the past and the future. I speak to you through the mists of time. And that's it for me.
I'm Audrey. You can find me on Tumblr, Twitter, co-host in Blue Sky at Optimum on Prime. You can also listen to the other podcast I do called Pot of Greed, which is about Yu-Gi-Oh! And I've also been cast in a radio drama that I should have more information about for you all very soon. And I'll just keep it short to that for now.
Noise Space, XYZ, podcasts. They're there. You can listen to them.
Yeah, that's it. So until next time, I'm going to fire up my wing lasers, transform and roll out.
I am going to say so long, suckers. I transform into a sweet sports car and peel away from the government agents in a cloud of smoke, and when it clears, I'm in pieces on the pavement.
We've made that joke so many times during 5Ds.
I bet.
Anyway, Peach.
Peach.